Hello, our users. My name is John Kulas. I'm a 20-year professor of industrial organizational psychology, 10-year user of R for normal, boring statistical applications, and for the last 7 or 8 years, probably somewhere around there, I've also been using R to wrap entire projects and to communicate the results of them, to craft a story, otherwise known as authoring within R. So, in addition to the analyses, we do write-ups in there as well that include things like citations and of course tables and all that kind of fun stuff. And so every week I get together and hang out with some collaborators on these projects, and we just make ourselves available if there's anyone out there who's interested in this kind of thing. But maybe you're curious about how to get started, or maybe you just want to bounce some ideas off of people who are also doing this. So we're here for that. We may be, I don't know, we may be replaced by AI here, I'm guessing, because AI is kind of serving the same function. But that's funny. I'm getting a little feedback uh, on the lower corner of my stream here. I haven't seen that before. Let's bring in our co-host tonight and see if he has any explanation of what might be going on there.
Vamos a ver, ¿qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué es lo que sí, qué está pasando con los alcaldes?
Hey, hello.
Hey, Diego. Are you seeing that little grayed out thing in the bottom right corner?
It says Forensic Psychometrics Tonight Slides,
Ah,
and the link to
okay.
the book down.
Okay. So there's a different option in terms of uh, chat comments, and so it's apparently in beta version, but I was playing with it earlier, so that must be what's going on. So if other people pop by, I may enable that again. But so last few weeks, Diego, we've been playing with Copilot, GitHub Copilot, the AI engine or model that is kind of there's a lot of help page information out there with integration of Copilot with the IDEs that we've been using. And so we forced it last week into our, not forced it, I shouldn't say that, but we
Yes, we did. we made it do it, and we better do it
yeah.
again.
Well, remember, we've already acknowledged that these are our future overlords, so we don't want to overstep our bounds. So I don't know. I don't want to be too forceful with the pending ruler AI bot. But you're younger and bolder than I am, so you can do that. But there's actually a lot of support and work that's been going on with AI integration in all these IDEs. And so what we thought we would do tonight was actually check out Positron. Now, Diego, you don't have access, I don't think, or your GitHub account does not have GitHub Copilot, right?
No, it does have.
Oh, you do?
I just installed it now,
Okay.
and I have it in Positron.
Oh my, okay, wow. Because I was about to say I don't know how far we'll get with the AI stuff yet, but certainly Positron, we have not taken a look at all. It sounds like you already installed it.
I have the chat here, um, and
Okay.
it's giving me options to put it into my favorite code editor. Hello, do I have Copilot installed in GitHub?
Well, either way, I think what we'll do is we'll have you kind of just do whatever you'd like to do with Positron, and we'll take a look at it. I have some links on here too for access to it, installation, and things like that. And then we also have this kind of second step, which is the AI piece of it within Positron itself. And so, if we don't get to the, all I meant to say, Diego, is if we don't get that to that specific aspect tonight, that's fine, because I think there's enough out there that I've been seeing that we could probably spend a couple of weeks just on the co-pilot aspect of within Positron itself. And I'm so glad you're here, Diego, because I don't know if I've told you all my frustrations, but I'm sick of AI. Like I
Aren't we all?
okay. Okay, so maybe it's not just me, but I'm not enjoying my experience in it as I code. I guess I found it more annoying than
Oh,
helpful.
yeah, I've been testing it now on Positron, and it's a bit, I don't know, a bit limited, I would say.
Okay. Well, what I have noticed is it's helpful for actual code, but the stuff that I'm doing, which is creating, feedback reports and things like that, the the authoring help is not helpful. The authoring help, we're seeing all kinds of hallucinations and making up stuff that's just not. It's just kind of replicating stuff I have for higher up in the document, and it's not helpful at all. But of course, I'm not using it optimally at this point either. So anyway, so I know you're probably on limited time, Diego, because you got stuff going on there. But let's try to
Oh,
do a quick.
I got a new headset. Can you see
Yeah.
any? Can you hear any background noise? Because I haven't tested it
Uh,
yet.
let's get Diego up here. Let's see the yeah. Well, you got a new haircut too, so that looks nice. I see that.
Yeah.
You're looking very professional, Diego. The headset. We can still hear Millie, but it's not a big deal. It's a nice addition. It's a welcome contribution to the weekly open office hours that we actually have. You sound clear. You sound good. So I think the big thing is that it's just not uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yours looks kind of like mine. It's kind of smallish, so hopefully it's not that bad for you. Now, Diego, I knew you were gonna be here this week, so I did look for a Dragon Ball Z transition,
Oh, the transition.
but I might need your help with that because we got to go with the old school 1960s Bullwinkle for at least one more week here.
Well, today we discover our heroes flying along smoothly.
Flying along smoothly.
You're just looking at the picture sideways!
Actually, it's like this.
Well, good heavens. Today we discover our heroes hurtling straight down toward disaster at supersonic speed.
Well, that's spinning. Pull her up, Rock!
I am Bullwinkle, but nothing's happening.
I can't understand it, Rocky. I designed this plane myself.
You did?
Of course.
Uh-oh, an airplane designed by Wrong-Way Peach Fuzz himself. Our boys are really in trouble.
Yes, makes you feel good all over, doesn't it?
Boris, now Mr. Big won't be mad anymore.
Who cares if he's mad? Besides me, I mean.
Me?
And still the jet drew nearer and nearer the Earth.
They were quite a ways up there in the sky. I don't know if you saw that, but you could see the entire globe as their plane was hurtling toward the Earth. The Earth, in this sense, is really literally the Earth, like instead of Mars or Venus or something. So last week, we took a look at a different way to interact with GitHub Copilot through our studio, which was this package called Chat R or Chatter, I guess it might be called. Now, before we got into Chatter, one thing that I noticed as I was kind of walking through recaps was this theme that you're looking at, this styling that you're looking at on this week's slides, and they were on last week's as well. And I think we'll just keep it like this for a while. This was a theme that we came up with as kind of our own customized theme. It's got, the Pink Panther down here. That's it's kind of signifying the element or the thematic element, I guess, that we were trying to capture. And so we did a Pink Panther oriented theme that includes the fonts that we're using on things like headings, font colors, background, things like that. But what I hadn't attended to when we developed this theme was the highlighting, and the highlighting was masking things. It wasn't highlighting. It was a very poorly chosen color, and it was masking, not highlighting. So what I mentioned last week is that I might go into the theme script, and that's what you're looking at here in the current window. The theme highlighting is a bunch of CSS, and when I first kind of started doing this stuff and using more HTML products, the CSS kind of intimidated me. It just looks it doesn't look familiar. But actually now dealing with it for a year or so, it's not bad at all. It's a lot of it is kind of self-explanatory and kind of intuitive. And then of course there's so many resources out there I've been using quite a bit these CSS editors where it'll just open up a browser, a literal internet connected browser, and it lets you tweak bits of CSS, and you can see the effect that it has on the rendered page. But all we had to do to there was only one tweak that I had to make in order to make the highlighting visible, and that was this $selection -bg command. So it actually tweaked the color that we had specified there. And then you'll notice that not all the color doesn't always look the same. So this is the color that I specified. I tried to find something that was consistent with the palette, but would also be readable. Now you'll notice that color is a little bit different here, and that's because there's additional CSS that's used in as kind of layered in some of these circumstances. In the context of code chunks, when I've highlighted and said, hey, let's go ahead and mute some of this other stuff, there's a muting factor that's taking place automatically as well. Now we could override that if we wanted to, but I thought it looked fine. I didn't notice this before, but I guess there's two semicolons here after my link color. That actually, it doesn't seem, that might be a mistake that I made when I copied this over. If not, it looks like it's not affecting what we're doing at all, because the link color is actually rendering in a few spots. It's rendering on the horizontal bars. It's rendering on the tab names themselves too. So that's all consistent with this link color, as well as actual hyperlinks if we're not overwriting the default font. So on this title, we've overridden the default font to get consistent with GitHub Copilot, or to just specify that we're talking about chatter or something a little bit different. But absent that, the hyperlinks are going to render in this slightly darker color than what we're seeing on just normal text within a page. So what else do I want to say about this? I just mentioned that we would cover that. And then I might take this little picture off, because the picture, it's kind of cute, but even though you can see through the picture itself is a big square, and it's interfering with my ability to click and drag and make the scrollable code chunk truly scrollable. And so we did that. But last week, the main focus was not on our theme and making our theme more readable. It was actually using that chatter package, and the steps to connect to that are here. You do need to have the GitHub Copilot feature enabled within your GitHub account. And a couple weeks ago, we went through all kinds of different options in order to actually do that. One of the frustrations that we had last week was because the chat box interface renders as a shiny document. If you want to use your existing session, you kind of have to access it and then lose it, and then access it and lose it, and then access it and lose it as you're rendering other types of things. And so the accessing it is done through a command called chatter_app. And we kept doing that, and I kept losing it. But if we just would have read the documentation a little better, and here you see the highlighting. Again, I could probably make that a little more noticeable. It's a little better than it was. But Posit, the company that provides these IDEs that we're looking at, and also has been doing a lot of work on Chatter, the package, they recommend for this specifically to go ahead and make a keyboard shortcut, so you don't have to do what we did last week, which was go back to the console and write this function and wait for the app to appear. So it probably makes sense, if you're going to use this workflow, to go ahead and make a keyboard shortcut there for that. And it's pretty straightforward. If you're interested in that, just follow the links on the just follow the link on the slides, and the slide URL is contained in the comments here for this video. And again, those apparently the comments don't always show up immediately. Most people, it seems, that are uh, hanging out with us or checking us out, I guess, are doing it after the fact. They're not doing it live. So if that's the case, it's possible that you might have to wait a, a day or so before the hyperlink shows up. Now that being said, I usually put information in the description of the videos as well. So if you go to the bottom of the description of the video, there should also be a hyperlink to the slides each week. And it's no great big secret in terms of the structure of those URLs. So you can go back a full year if you want and look at old slides. Now, you probably have a fairly boring life if you do that, but who am I to judge? So this week, yeah, we're going to check out Positron. And there's a couple of caveats with this as well. So all of this AI integration stuff, it seems like it's currently being worked on. This in particular seems like a work in progress. There was a issue that was opened 2 years ago regarding GitHub Copilot specifically with Positron, and it was closed recently and then reopened. So it's something that they're still currently working on. Now, what they're saying here, Diego, if I've read kind of what's going on here accurately, there is AI integration within Positron in the form of autocompletes, but the chatter type back and forth chat that we checked out, checked out, I guess. Chuck, it should be Chuck, shouldn't we? Chucked out? Anyway, we tested it last week. That's not something that I don't know why we couldn't just use that also within Positron, but that it seems like that back and forth chat is something that they want to enable a little more smoothly within Positron. And so it's not yet fully enabled is my understanding. The Copilot autocomplete that we have been using in our studio, however, that looks like it is fine. And remember so when we first started looking into Positron and wondering what it was and how to use it and whether we'd like it or not, it became our understanding that it's basically VS Code, which is a very popular IDE. It's used for multiple languages. That VS Code's Microsoft, right, Diego? I'm guessing that's a Microsoft product, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
But so Positron is built on VS Code, and apparently it's not just Posit that does this. I guess there's a few entities that are maybe doing similar things. So there's got to be some open source element to the VS Code IDE, but I don't know if it's fully open source. And it looks like there's elements that are and elements that aren't. And so what the elements of the IDE that are going to be helpful for full chat integration within Positron are still being worked on, is my reading of things. Now I have, Diego, if you want to access, I don't know what we'll see in just a second here, what point you're at in terms of things loaded and checked out and stuff. But I did put a link on this slide as well that is specific to AI integration within Positron. And so I think we can walk through this, or at least I can take a look at this while you're trying to access things, if you like. And if other people stumble across this and are interested in doing this kind of stuff, you might want to follow this link as well. Okay, so I'll shut up now. And Diego, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Is that a new shirt, Diego? It looks like it's either it's got weird monograms and symbols on it, or it has the measles or something.
No, it has foxes actually.
Those are foxes?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Little foxes.
Little Zorros. Do you know what the manufacturer is? Is it a manufacturer's logo?
No, Danny got it for me a while ago. I have no idea. I don't know. So you can see here a positron, right?
Yeah, so maybe can you walk us through what you did?
What
So
I did,
this is not something that you typically use, right? You just downloaded it because we were gonna hang out here on Tuesday, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so I'm very unfamiliar with this, so hopefully, the viewers can get in my shoes easier because we're both clueless here. So the first thing I did was just go here to extensions and look for Copilot, and the first extension that came up, this one, Super Maven, I just click on that and I installed it, and and when you install it, it takes you to their website for you to link your IDE with the extension, and it just asks you for your Gmail account or your GitHub account. I gave it my GitHub account, and then I clicked on Enable Copilot in my GitHub settings, and yeah, and then I tested it a little bit, but I don't know. I wrote, like, for example, write me a program that plots a histogram of the first variable in the iris dataset, and then here. Oh, we're still incomplete. This worked before. I don't know what's happening now.
yeah, while you're checking that out, I'm looking at Super Maven here because I
There,
that wasn't the direction I
there it
was
is. Just hit
thinking.
hit F5, and then it just like auto completes like that.
So you're getting a lot. So again, the autocomplete, that's similar to what we saw within our studio. Um, there are a couple, I think, things that we can check to make sure we're connected the way that we think we're connected, I think. So I wonder if we should check those out here. And I'm just looking.
So let me zoom in a little bit there. It's easier to see now.
Oh, that's helpful. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Sorry. The there's so I wonder if you've accessed this through Supermaven or not, but there's a Positron assistant, Diego. Do you see anything specifically? Oh no, my internet's giving
An
me a hard time.
extension.
No, it's within Positron itself. I'm looking at a help page here. Positron
Oh
assistant
yeah,
is not
I saw it on GitHub too, but I didn't check it out.
um and did you tell it that you're interested in R?
Uh, no.
It just went to R by default?
Well,
That's
this
interesting.
this this so depending on the file that you open it in, it just a pop-up window shows up to activate.
Okay, I thought that that was just going to be a general editor, but that's actually a script file, a .r type.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Um, can you see? This is the thing. I don't believe that we're going to have a back and forth chat capability enabled. Um,
Let's see. I'm gonna ask it now a follow-up. Now create a data frame with the mean. Oh, look,
you
for
like the
each
simulation
species.
data.
There. Look, it's creating like a thing there. Let's see. Is that doesn't look like the data frame though. Where's the DF there? Let's see if that works actually. Right? Oh, if I forgot to load the packages. You see, that's why I said that it's a bit clunky.
Well, we need to figure out where it's pulling that from. So I'm looking here to see if I can get something for you as well as I'm trying to kind of watch what you're doing because what you're doing is interesting as well.
Oh, there it worked. You see, it did the thing that I asked it to do.
And so there is an autocomplete in here too, but we we believe this is just what we've enabled already just through that Super Maven. And that's all you did, right? Super Maven, and then
Yes.
told it okay, and then it kind of walked you through an auto connect through your GitHub account.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell it now to remove the one of the rows to see if it if it's interacting with my script every
Yeah, because
time.
that's perfect because that was a big issue that we've been having is stuff in the environment versus stuff available online. If it came up with its own data, you should be able
Oh,
to.
look, it did the thing, I think.
What did you ask it to do, and what did it
But
do?
wait, I tell it to remove the Virginica row, and it removed wait, what? There's no fourth row. It's trying to remove a fourth row that doesn't exist. Okay, it's being weird. Now it is. Okay.
But that was an autocomplete that you asked it to do.
Yeah, it autocomplete, but to remove the fourth row, you see, like that.
There's supposed to be a chat robot icon somewhere.
Actually, then
Somewhere.
maybe it's just I need to be more specific. Remove the row named Virginica. I need to from the data frame. There we go. That's more like it, maybe. No, I think I screwed everything up. No, it's all NAs.
Well, you keep overwriting the same object. I don't know. That's probably better than having DF and DF1 and DF2 and DF3 and DF4 and DF5 and DF6.
Yeah. But like, it's not like remembering the data frame. It's just removing it from the original. It's assuming that my DF is the original iris DF. Yeah. And it's
Ah,
calling the species object inside iris, which my DF doesn't have that because my DF is just the means and standard deviation and n per group per species.
hmm.
My DF doesn't have a species column. Actually, it does have it. Why didn't it work? I think it's because I overwrote it. You're right. I'm the one being dumb, not the AI.
Well, we used to have the saying that R is never wrong, but we don't have that same saying with AI. We do know that AI is sometimes wrong, but still, especially when you're early learning R, there's just such everybody when they first learn this has some point where they are adamant and just believe to their very core that they're right and R is wrong. So we used to have that saying in my classes that was said every semester and multiple times a semester. R is never wrong. Because
Well,
it was always user error, either just comma in the wrong spot or you forget to close a parenthesis or something. But AI is wrong occasionally. Now, so you got the autocomplete through Super Maven. Now, Diego, what I'm curious to know is whether we can access the Positron Assistant, and I'm curious to see if it recognizes that we're connected now to Copilot. So it said, I think you might be able to hit Control Shift P. There's a keyboard shortcut sequence. That did nothing. Oh, there we go. Uh, and then look for.
assistant.
Well, no, it's actually recommended type something. So it says chat colon open chat in sidebar, or maybe it's just quick chat now. It might be an out of date. No, do you see any chat in the sidebar? I don't see a sidebar. I mean, you got a panes when you have a data preview, you have your plot. I can't really see what's above that. That's my fault. I have a little icon that's blocking it. But the sidebar you would think would be on the left. Is there those grayed out options on the left, Diego, or any of those chat options? Like you have the on the left there, you have the red looks like number 1 maybe on that's
Oh, here,
yeah.
Explorer. No, this is just the live stream files. Testing. I don't see anything. Super Maven here. Oh, look. I think I can have a conversation with Super Maven.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for. Now,
Hello. Who's
are
the
we sure?
president of the US? October 2023? Oh no, it thinks Joe Biden is the president.
we, and this is Super Maven. So let's try to figure out who we're connected to through Super Maven. We think it's GitHub Copilot, right?
It's GPT
Oh,
4.0.
okay. But I think that is GitHub Copilot because that's last week we also found out that part of the issue with accessing it was the models that you're calling out. That was the Chat GPT model. So you got that from maybe. Can you ask it to confirm, or maybe ask it?
Confirm it if it's Copilot.
Yeah, I think there's a command. I'm just looking for a command that we can actually use to get. Are you go? Okay, so it's Super Maven specific. So I think we still can see if we can access Copilot, but we still we would like to get to a chat that is not powered by Super Maven, but is powered by Positron. There's a Positron assistant. Now on top of that window, that chat window, Diego, you have a settings option and some other things. Are any of those letting you get to the Positron assistant instead
look,
of?
I can select model. Remember last week we were like looking how to do that with our studio, but they only had it for VS Code and maybe Positron. Let's try 4.0 mini.
Yeah, and Claude, I think Claude should be enabled too, but I think that one might need a separate subscription.
Okay, I don't see. You can put here your API key.
Okay. So the Super Maven looks like a kind of a helpful extension just to organize your access to all this stuff.
Yeah, seems like it.
But you didn't do any real vetting, right? You're just like, oh, that came up and let's try it.
Yes.
That's pretty consistent with you and me, so that makes sense. Okay. I'm still curious, Diego, if we can get to the Positron Assistant chat pane instead of the Super Maven chat pane. And again, I'm kind of talking as I'm looking here. And Positron Assistant, I think, was something that is fairly new, like within a month, kind of released new, I believe. So let's see.
No, this is just.
The other thing I should.
Super Maven.
The other thing I should do is I should just download the ID. I was kind of hoping that you would have it, which you do, so I don't have to. Um, but let's see, where's my connections pane? Connections pane. It's probably what you have open.
Hmm. Is it this one? Introducing the Positron assistant.
Oh, what's the date on that article you found?
I think this is the one you were showing before.
I don't remember visuals like that. I mean, I think the help page that is on the slide deck is probably fine. It's just we needed one more remedial class on Positron because I'm unsure of how to get to something that should be fairly easy to get to, which is just one of the panels. Did you, at the top of that page, Diego, did you notice what the publication date was on that?
Last month, it's on
Yeah.
June 3rd.
Yeah, it looks like everything's kind of filtering back to that same help page that is in the slide deck. The same information is actually, oh, in the settings. Okay, so we haven't, I don't think we've played with the settings window yet within Positron, but so that, I think that's something we want to take a look at. So, you know, the curious thing is whether the extension that you found is doing what we're trying to do or not. So,
It's going
because
to
the
open Electron.
electron, you got positrons, you got neutrons, you got electrons.
No neutrons, only electrons and positrons.
Do you think Posit recognized that positron is an actual subatomic particle when they came up with that name? 'Cause it's not a common one, right? Like it's not something that's commonly talked about when you're talking about neutrons, protons, etc. Like you don't usually say positron. I mean, they had to be doing some work on that, right? The positron is also called an anti-electron. It's the particle with an electric charge of 0.1 e, a spin of half, and the same mass as the electron. Now, when I first heard positron, I thought transformers, right? My mind went to Megatron, the star scream, I'm going to kill you guy, but more positive, right? So less, I'm going to kill you, Starscream, and more, would you like to have tea and crumpets? Now, Diego, can you navigate to Positron and let's look for your settings icon and see if we can turn on that assistant.
Let's see. Okay, click on the chat robot icon on the sidebar. Maybe here it is. No, I don't see any robot.
No, I don't either. So let's go to your settings. Let's go to your settings option. Now you get several settings. I assume. So you have a settings option on each of the panes that you have, Diego. I wonder if you can go to the chat. I think you've probably already done this, but where you have the current Super Maven chat, what does the settings button on that one give us?
And just to enter the API codes.
Okay. Okay. So we got to find the right setting. There's just, again, for two people that aren't using this IDE, there's a lot of specific terminology. So they
I
talk
think
about palettes.
I need to enable it somehow, but I don't know how. So it says step 1, opt into the Positron assistant setting. Okay, what is it? So I have to do it from my browser. That's weird.
No, I think you do that from within Positron, but that hyperlink is dead. As I I was at the same spot, so the hyperlink is not helpful. That's kind of what we need. We need to know how to do what it's saying we should do with that.
Okay, so let's go settings.
Well, now it also looks like if I'm again, my old eyes aren't seeing this very well, but it also looks like in your positron on the upper left there, where it says new, Diego, right above the red number one, is that a settings icon as well?
No, this
Yes.
is to create a new folder
Oh,
or
okay.
a new
What's the
file.
icon? The icon to me looks like a cog. Is it not?
No, it's a plus.
Oh, okay. And then you also have a
Oh,
settings
look.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're down here. Okay, let's try here settings.
All right. This looks more promising. So probably the positron tab, right? No.
Let's see.
It might be an
Oh,
application,
look.
I guess.
Okay, here I found something, but no. Oh, I heard her. She's calling her mom.
What does it sound like when she calls for her dad?
She says, Appa, or Daddy.
That that applicate is that an applications tab or application?
Appearance. Oh, here, application. Uh, how about we just do assistant?
The other thing is, when did you download Positron, Diego? This is new enough where this needs to be like a really recent install.
I actually had it installed since last time we tested it a while ago, but I updated it.
Okay, you did update it like within the last week or so?
Yeah,
Okay.
we updated it now. Okay, let's check GitHub.
Yeah, if we're searching for something, if that chat robot icon, it says it's a speech bubble with a robot face. I'm not seeing that. It says activity panel. Do we see an activity panel?
Activity panel. That must be this with the scripts and everything, right? Oh, look, this is so cool. If you click over like your function, it gives you the help page, and
That's
it like
nice.
just pops up. That's so cool. You don't have to use the help button.
So are you think you're going to start using this a little bit, maybe, or not?
I mean, the only problem is that at work I can't, because they only have a certain programs that you're allowed to use in my work laptop, and outside of work I don't use R that much.
Gotcha. It just says look in the activities panel, which is the vertical sidebar. I gotta believe it's that grayed out kind of steel slate gray on the far left that has that red. Yeah, it almost has to be that. Uh,
And this is the Explorer. Search, source control, run and debug, extensions, testing, Super Maven. And then we have here manage. And is that activity?
I wonder. I wonder if it's because you installed Super Maven and that's kind of doing what this would also do. What if you quit and come in fresh?
Okay, yeah, I can restart. Let's see, what was the command to restart? It was this one, developer reload window. Hmm. No, whatever, I'll just close it.
Yeah, because I think we don't want Super Maven, and see if that's loading automatically now.
I mean, how would that matter? This is just an extension, so.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking is that, to me, from the help pages, that where we're looking is where you're supposed to be getting access to the assistant, and we're seeing the Super Maven icon instead of the Positron assistant icon. But I think maybe what I can do here is I'll download it and open it. We'll see what it looks like on my machine. Did it take a long time to install this, Diego?
Uh, about Positron or Super
Yeah.
Maven? No, it updates on the background already. So as soon as as soon as I open Positron, it started updating.
Okay. Well, I'm downloading now, so we'll take a look and see if my user interface looks any different than yours. And that'll be probably enough for today. So you were able to connect via Super Maven. You were able to get some autocompletes. You were able to chat with it as well, which is what we wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
So I just went to the Positron download site, and you can see my download is still working here. Put that in the comments. They got kind of a different looking icon. I don't think I've seen that before.
The P.
Yeah, I wonder if that's new or I just haven't been paying attention. But it's not like a posit. It's not a symbol that I've seen before with posit. I might uninstall this soon after I install it, so I don't know. It's taken me so long to learn and be comfortable with our studio. I just don't know if I can. I don't know if I want to invest the time.
Yeah, this is kind of the same, really. It's very similar to our studio. The IDE is just more modern, I guess.
Yeah, and probably a little more, probably a little more um, workable with multiple languages, right? I mean, our studio is good for that at this point too, in terms of Python
Yeah, with
or
Reticulate, you
but
can use Python too.
yeah, and I don't think you need that. So you shouldn't need that extra package within VS Code, right? It doesn't matter.
Let's see if we can just switch and use Super Maven to package. Okay, and let's use Super Maven to write me some Python code. Do the same thing, plot a histogram, but with Python.
Now, are you doing that within the script or are you doing that within the chat?
The script.
Because your script is already an R script, right? I wonder if it's going to want you to download Reticulate or something.
It's making me download IP kernel. And it's installing now.
IP kernel, that sounds like something the AI might want. So IPython kernel for Jupyter.
Oh, look, you have an extension that's like GitHub. Yeah, it's the only extension that you have that I don't, the GitHub one.
What you're looking at right now, this KC server?
No, like in your blue bar to the left in Positron.
Oh, oh, okay. So I already have it. I see. I was too worried about the warning message that I got. So then you already changed your environment to look more.
Oh yeah, the theme.
Yep. So this is what I'm seeing here is where we're supposed to see the Posit assistant. And so I think I do have more icons than you had, right? Does it look like?
Yeah, you have the GitHub the GitHub one down there, and then below that there's another one with an arrow. I don't know what that is. Posit Publisher.
Yeah, that looks like um, that's probably a method to connect to
Oh, can you look
Posit.
something up down in the variables panel? If you go to the right,
Yeah.
um, so you extend that window a little bit, and I'll go to connections. Because there it tells me that I don't have any. Like I go to no database connections are currently active. But for you, I think it does. You are connected to something.
Uh maybe. I think what is yeah, I guess I'm not sure. You might have had this too before you um before you did your different layout. It's funny. It might just be recognizing that I have Quarto on my machine, or that I have been using the Posit. I've been using a publisher macro through Posit on my RStudio. Maybe it sees that or something.
Oh,
Uh, but I really would like to see that Positron assistant. I might have to let it know who I am. Although that doesn't make sense either because there's different. You don't need to use GitHub Copilot. You can use different ways to interact. Okay. Well, it's probably riveting. It's probably riveting content for us to sit here and be searching on our new IDE that we're not familiar with to find a robot with a chat bubble on its head. So maybe what I'll do in the interceding week here is I'll figure that out, how we actually access that. And then we can do, are you going to be able to make it next week, Diego? Are you interested in doing one more of this kind of
yeah.
checking out? Okay. Maybe what we'll do next week is we will compare and contrast the the positron assistant connection, the way that they're recommending to do it versus maybe some of these extensions like you've done with supermaven. We could do a compare and contrast on that and then check those connections and see what they look like.
With the supermaving, I'm trying to use Python to plot that histogram with the iris dataset, and it's not installing the libraries or packages that I need for Python, just like it did for R.
You want to show what you're doing? So you're saying the same issue that you had before you're having regardless of the programming engine?
Yeah. Here. So I told it, write me a program that plots a histogram of the first variable in the iris dataset using Python. And, it wrote me this code, port pandas, matplotlib to plot it. That's like ggplot. And then, oh, it's telling me, it thinks that I have the iris dataset on a CSV because I guess Python doesn't have it. And then, all this other stuff. But yeah, I don't have it. I don't have pandas installed or something. So it doesn't, it fails to import pandas as PD, and it fails to import matplotlib.
Okay. So yeah, you probably just don't have those installed, it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's the plan for next week. I will figure out the Positron assistant, and then we will do a little more comparing and contrasting with the Super Maven, and then anything else that we come across that maybe is also AI-ish within Positron probably. So I think we'll spend at least one more week looking at this new IDE, as obviously this is new for us as well. So we'll struggle through that a little bit in terms of how to navigate it. All right, I think that's it. Anything else, Diego?
No, I should get going too.
All right,
Well,
thanks for popping by. See
see
ya.
you later. Bye.